Hello everyone, this is Renee Piani and this is Get Real About Love, and I'm here with a very special man that lives in my hometown, and I was here and I wanted everybody to know more about Earle Van. My sister has a son that is a drug addict, and she heard about Earle through the grapevine of people that are on a mission. So you have to meet him. He's right here. Hi, Earle. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to meet you. I've been hearing about you for months and watching your videos. He's right here on Facebook with thousands of followers, and he has a company called Hope on Deck. So why don't you tell us, what is this mission that you're on? Why are you doing what you're doing, and what is it?
So I'm a recovering heroin addict. My mother actually found me overdosed in her basement. So probably around 11:30 midnight or so, I went to get high and I overdosed, and I landed on my back and I aspirated. So my mom found me literally in a puddle of vomit.
Oh my God.
And then 2 weeks later, she found her brother dead, and he had been dead for 2 days. So it destroyed her. She had the, her hair turned gray. She's had a life insurance policy on me since I've been 20. So with all of that, I had been to rehab 50, 60 times over. And the last time, I got lucky and got a 90-day scholarship to Florida, because all the state-run facilities are horrible. 5 days, and then there's no aftercare. You don't even meet your counselor. So when I got sober this time, I literally, the day I got home from rehab, I signed up with another nonprofit, and I started going to like baseball games and different stuff and handing out pamphlets. And then from there, I just started doing it by myself, and then kind of made a team, and then started a nonprofit. And so,
but how did you get away from heroin? How, when you've been so addicted for so long? I mean, it's an epidemic now. My sister has been praying for an answer, and then you show up, right? And then she calls you, and you do these magical, angelic interventions. So how did you go from just doing this as a small mission, and now it's turned into like a national thing?
So when it first started, I was going down to Kensington, which is in Philadelphia, and I would put this sign on my back. I would write with like a Sharpie. I would put free cigarettes, and then I'd put ask how with a big question mark. So that was just kind of to get people's attention, and all the homeless down there would want a cigarette, so they'd say, how do I get one? And I'd say, let me just talk to you for 5 or 10 minutes, I'll give you a cigarette.
Wow.
And from there, I ran out of donations. I had like my old clothes, so I started a Facebook. And the Facebook was just to get local people to give me their clothes they were going through, or to, deodorant, something. And then I posted this video, it got really big, and then from there, I started doing different things, live videos, topics, having parents come on, and it just kept growing and growing and growing. And then I started traveling further outside of my area. I think I've been on almost probably half the states so far in the country, close to.
Oh my God. So I'm so excited about it that everyone I talk to has a kid or someone that they know, or their brother or their cousin, or like my nephew that's going through this and they can't seem to get out of it. Do you think there's hope on deck? I mean, what can parents do to get a hold of you? I mean, how are you going to hold up giving all this hope? I want people to support you, and what could you use? Because now you have an official 501c3, and how can people support you?
So the Facebook page is Earle Van. I don't know why my mom put an E at the end of Earle, so it's EARLE, and then space VAN, and then Hope on Deck, which is the nonprofit. But I think there's always hope. I think for somebody like me, I've almost, like I said, I've been to rehab 50 times. Jail, psych wards, everywhere that you can imagine. And thank God that my mom kept, going, but she stopped enabling me. She stopped letting me, I couldn't live with her. She would still take me out to get food every once in a while. She would buy me socks or something like that, but for the most part, she kind of just cut me off. And then from that, I kind of hit enough pain in my life to where I was like, I'm either just going to die or I'm going to go get my life together. And I think there's always hope. I've seen some of the worst cases ever, like people living under a bridge for 5 years, and then they get sober and change their life.
But you got certified somehow, because what everybody's going to ask is, okay, what's going to stop you from going back? If you went back 50 times, how are you going to stay clean? Is your mission keeping you sober?
That's a huge chunk of it. I see it so often. I see people, living under bridges a lot, and it doesn't look appealing to me anymore. But honestly, ever since probably once I hit around 4 months clean, I haven't thought about using once. And I've watched people inject heroin I watch people do drugs all the time and it doesn't even have the slightest effect on me whatsoever. I don't even think about it at all.
So how long has it been? I mean, I'm sure
Getting
people...
close to 2 years.
2 years clean.
Almost.
So his pain, like I say in my work, his pain led him to his passion. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got a passion, and so what is like you're getting donations. You know, my sisters are involved. She's gotten all of her friends, and different people are coming in Delaware to really help you out. What else can people do? I think he should have a reality show. I mean, because he's so handsome. Yes. But the young people need a guide, and you've gotten certifications from where? What were your certifications?
So I went to California, actually Sacramento, and there's a lady out there who she's been an interventionist for 27 years, and she has a course that you can take out there. And I took that course to get certified to do the interventions, and then I got endorsed through her company. So I'm an endorsed interventionist. And then with the speaking, I just took like little classes here and there to speak, and then I just kept doing it and learned as I went. When I started, I didn't even know. When I started the Facebook thing, I didn't even know that any of this was happening. Wasn't even my goal. I just was like, you know what, I'm just going to...
He's being forced into his goal.
Yeah, I walked right into it, and it just happened. And then once I seen it was happening, I was like, I'm going to try to grab a hold of it, and that's what I did.
Well, it's a growing experience for him, and I know myself, watching his videos and hearing my sisters, and they're doing fundraisers, they're gathering clothes and blankets, and they need help. And now it's legal for him to receive your help, and you can write it off. So you should check this man out. His passion is true. I met him today, and you can just feel your heart, coming out of your skin. But most importantly is, how do people like this stay afloat? Is getting people to help. So people are going to be covering your van with, Earle Van, and he's going to be traveling. So if you have a group or a family member or somebody that has groups that he can come and speak to, maybe get some funding to come and speak so that he can help your children or somebody that you might know that has a person in their family or close to them, because it is epidemic, and it's sad that people aren't aware of it and they just kind of brush it under the rug, don't you think?
I do. I think that's why I like going to the schools and stuff, because I think what's such a sore subject. I know a lot of people, like a lot of families, they'll have like a kid that's in addiction, and then they say, well, like, don't tell anybody, because they don't want they don't want the neighbors to know. But then they don't know is that the neighbor's kid's an addict too. Right. And their kids are probably getting high together, and then both the families are worried about them, each family finding out. Right. And then it makes it hard for anybody to do anything about it because nobody knows.
Well, that's why this is called Get Real, because this is a love issue. A lot of parents, in my studies with people finding love and watching the imprints from their family, whether they're in a divorced family or, a lot of kids have their mother that's single moms raising them, or, they're split between their mother and father. So the parents don't really know what you're doing on your time off, That
was my mom. So my mom came from nothing. So she had no money growing up. Both of my grandparents are both addicts. So my mom, we lived in a trailer. My mom had to go to school, get a full-time job, and she was running a daycare out of her home all at the same time. So she wasn't around very often, which kind of left me to do
play around, in the with the boys, and to be in the cool group at school, and
I was the youngest.
Wow.
So I wanted to be just like the older kids. When they're 15, I'm 11 or 12. So they're in high school. They got girls and they're smoking weed. And I was like, this looks awesome. But I had to do it harder than they did. Right. Because I was younger, so I had to try to, outdo them.
Up level the brothers, the younger brothers. Well, it happens in big families, and I know I come from a big family, and we've had, throughout the years challenges, but this challenge with drug addiction, with the ability for kids to get drugs so cheap now, I mean, it's easy to get them. So what can parents do, before we wrap up here, what could people do that might have somebody that's going through this? How can you help, and how?
So there's 3 pages. There's Earle Van, which is my personal page. It's EARLE space VAN, Hope on Deck. And then there's a page, it's M.O.M, Mothers on a Mission, Fighting Against Addiction. And that's all moms. And it's either moms in recovery, moms who have kids in recovery, moms with kids in addiction, or moms who have lost children to addiction.
Well, this is something that everybody could get on board to help this gentleman who's dedicated his life to this. I consider him a male angel. He's here with a message that's very important for the world. So let's all give Earle a hand. Yay! You are amazing.
You.
I know my sisters are way involved with you in Wilmington, Delaware. And anyone that wants to donate, you can donate clothing. They can find out more about your 501c3 online, right, on Hope on Deck.
Yeah.
And get on board if you have any schools, where your kids' camps or groups, any moms that have groups that need support from his mother's way involved. And she can really give you a lot of advice so that you don't take your kids down the wrong lane. So I'm so happy that I got to meet you, and I'm honored to support you. When he comes to California, we're going to hook him up with some of my friends that are involved in this mission. And I think that once your heart is so committed to this, that things will all end up, doors will open over and over. But you have to make sure that you take care of yourself, because people need you. And when they are, they start to cling, you have to learn how to care for that soul of yours. You have a beautiful soul. I'm honored to meet you, and I will do all I can out in California to help this young man when I come back. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing your growth as you expand further and further. This is a true story for Christmas. Many families have kids that are homeless. They don't know where they are. And this man is bringing hope to the world. So thank you for tuning in. We'll have all of his information right here below so that you can reach this amazing Earth Angel, Earle Van. So check him out at Earle Van Facebook, M.O.M.S. Right, moms?
It's capital M dot capital O dot capital M. Mothers on a Mission.
I love that. Mothers on a Mission. So thank you for tuning in. This is Get Real About Love TV, and I'm helping people get real, not just about romantic love, but important issues that deal with matters of the heart. Thanks for tuning in.